Well, good day! So I would like to talk about a really vintage and really short but really awesome little Christmas kind of a short cartoon. This one featuring Betty Boop's buddy, Professor Grampy, as he helps a bunch of kids on Christmas. One that definitely warms the heart. So yeah, alright, let's go!
Alright, so it's Christmas time, and we start the season off in an orphanage. And a kind of rundown orphanage too, sadly. But, you know, there is still some joy in there for Christmas, right? Like, they have a dried out Christmas tree. They still have their stockings hanging by the fireplace, you know? There's still hope. Suddenly, boom! It's Christmas morning! The kids run out to the big room, you know, they're all excited. They open up their presents, and everything's awesome, man. These kids are playing with their new toys. But these toys are of the low-grade quality and they fall apart really quickly. The children are devastated. They're all crying and they all go back to their rooms really sad. Meanwhile, Professor Grampy is driving outside in some crazy contraption when he passes the orphanage and he hears all the children crying. He sees the kids all sad and like he just feels bad, so he really wants to help them out. So he puts on his literal thinking cap and he comes up with a plan. He breaks into the place and starts rummaging through all the kitchen supplies they have lying about the place. And he goes full on MacGyver, man. He starts building toys out of random things, like a sled from a washboard, a banjo from pots and pans, like a mechanical ostrich from like some cleaning stuff, I think. I don't know, this guy's a pretty amazing engineer, you know, so it's looking pretty good. He goes into the big living room and even decorates the place up all pretty and fancy too. Like, this guy is a one-man Santa's workshop. He does it all. So much of a Santa he is that he even makes a Santa suit out of, I think it's tablecloth, but it looks really good. And he goes to wake up the kids. They're getting a second Christmas. And these kids are like doubly excited because not only do they have more toys and stuff, but like, that's frickin' Santa Claus, you know? Well, to them anyway. And these toys that the kids are playing with are actually not falling apart, so like they're actually having a grand old time. Grampy even turned the main staircase into a ski hill, which, I hope those makeshift sleds and skis are up to some sort of a safety standard, you know? I'm sure they are, man, but still. And then, la creme de la creme, Grampy makes a Christmas tree out of a bunch of green umbrellas, so now the kids have all the Christmas fixings, right? The toys, the decorations, the tree. It's a Christmas miracle. And yeah, so with that, that is the end of this jolly tale.
So what can you say, right? Like, that's a pretty happy little ending to this cartoon. Like, these children had so much going against them. They're orphans, they're living in a really rundown house that is barely making it by. They couldn't even have one day of joy because all their Christmas toys fell apart. Like, it's, you know, really tough go for these kids. And then comes Professor Grampy to make everything better, and like, holy jeez, like, he totally does. And it's a really cool way that he did it, right? Like, you know, realistically, you don't always need that really big Christmas toy that's really popular at the time. Like, you know, the Tickle Me Elmos, the Cabbage Patch Kids, the whatever, the Nerf guns, I don't know, some stuff. You know, all those things that are really expensive and in high demand? Nay, man, you just need toys that don't fall apart and kids can have fun with. And the whole concept of upcycling and reusing things, you know, like it's pretty well used in this episode, which is pretty awesome to see. And it's also a very humbling cartoon as well, right? Like a lot of us, we've all been blessed to have family and have, you know, like comfortable times at Christmas and stuff like that. So like, to see these kids, you know, how they were really struggling, especially in a house that was falling apart, like, it does give you that reminder that there are a lot of people out there who are not as fortunate, so you wouldn't have to break into an orphanage and build toys for kids to help them out. You can do a lot of other things too, right? I don't know how it is around where you live, but you know, like around here, man, we got like, there's a Santa's Anonymous where you can donate toys for children. There's, you know, the food bank and other things where you can help out a lot of people around this time of year, and it does seem like the right thing to do, now don't it? But yeah, there's some more stuff to talk about with Professor Grampy and stuff like that, and other behind the scenes kind of stuff, so let's get to that stuff over here.
So yeah, Professor Grampy, eh? So, if you didn't know, he is part of the Betty Boop cinematic universe, or realm, or whatever you want to call it, but he's there. So let's just go back a little bit to the beginning of it. Betty Boop herself made her debut in the cartoon short Dizzy Dishes in 1930. And although that was an early version of her character, and she wasn't the focus of the cartoon, but that's not really hither nor dither, because for her cameo, she was memorable enough, to really develop that character into the cartoon woman that we all know and love. And she did get square in the spotlight and got her own cartoons made, and slowly, a bunch of supporting cast characters around her were being created as well. Much like our old friend here, Professor Grampy. So he first appeared in the cartoon short Betty Boop and Grampy in 1935, and he is exactly as he is seen in this featured episode, right? He has his thinking cap. He's a master at building things out of ordinary objects. He's always happy, he's always helping. Like, just a really great guy, right? And it's not really clear if he is Betty Boop's grandfather or not, or if he's just called Grampy affectionately. We don't know. But either way, not a whole lot of character development with this guy, as he was only featured in 10 cartoon shorts, 9 of them which featured Betty Boop, and then there was this Christmas episode, which is the only one he was featured in where he was the main character. And speaking of Betty Boop cartoons, they were produced by the legendary Max Fleischer and his studio. And actually, Max Fleischer and his team created Betty Boop and all the characters within there. It is believed that Grampy was somewhat based on Max Fleischer's brother, Charles, who was an inventor. So maybe not 100%, but there's gotta be a bit of influence there, right? There is a wild theory out there that Grampy is based on another Max Fleischer character, Coco the Clown, as in Grampy is the future version of Coco, after Coco retired. Maybe, may not be. Some people really like to tie things together, out of thin air. Kind of like me. But this one, even I don't know, man. That's a bit of a stretch. But yeah, that's the main meat and potatoes of this character, who's only really been around for 2 years, mostly. So not much more to say about the guy, but maybe I will in the future. Yeah. But yeah, so with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so. Or anything else, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.